needles, hanging, hanging by execution, bullets, whatever it is. The state and different states in the world have used the death row to execute prisoners and people who are in jail, people who are, they call it death row. In Uganda, the death row has been in existence since the constitution was framed in 1962. But today I'm here to talk to you about a very serious issue. And by now you already know what I'm here to talk to you about, and that's the death penalty. Many people have been put on death row. But how constitutional is this, one may ask? How do you viewers look at the death row? How does one judge in his mind that is death row really good as opposed to life imprisonment? Today, Simply Legal wanted to take a trip down the death row lane. We wanted to ask you, the viewers, to come on board with us on a trip, and let's see whether death row is actually very constitutional. In Uganda, it's still there in theory, but it's longer done in practice. But I'd like to ask you a very good question, is that should it still be there in theory? Some may ask. In fact, some on the opposing team may say, you know what, Terry, the death penalty is there because it keeps people in line, keeps criminals in line, people who may actually want to commit these crimes. Others may say it's unconstitutional and it's dehumanizing. Uganda is a signatory to the United Nations Convention on Human Rights. And one of these other conventions, because Uganda is signatory to many conventions, under Article 6, Clause 2, states that, you know what, no country should still sanction death penalties, and no country should still sanction people on death row, meaning that no country should still be practicing the death penalty. In Uganda, there are a number of laws which provide for the death penalty being the... Many people in Uganda will actually say, you know what, let the death penalty still be there. How can someone who commits a double homicide or someone who kills several people and is put on death row be pardoned? How can this person be excused? How can this person be put on life imprisonment? During my research and in my time in law school, I actually concurred with the death row being put and someone being put on death row. However, when you look at the different articles and judge with your own wisdom and using the law, you understand that the death row is actually not constitutional. Well, these are the opinions of some of the lawyers who I spoke to and the legal team that I have. Some may say it's unconstitutional, and I agree with them. When you look at the articles in the Constitution, we look at Article 28, we look at even the beginning articles of the Constitution, which state that every citizen of Uganda shall be free from degrading and inhumane treatment. Someone being put on death row is degrading and inhumane treatment. Wouldn't you agree? Because when someone is put on death row, when someone is being hung and they just put down like this, the life is being taken away from them. Yes, they committed a double homicide. Yes, they committed rape. They committed attempted rape, whatever it is. But wouldn't this person reform more if they're put on life imprisonment? I agree. Because at the end of the day, what is the whole point of someone being put into prison? What's the whole point of someone being put on remand? What's the whole point of someone being sentenced to life imprisonment? It's to rehabilitate them and to show an example to the rest of the people that if I rape Mary, then I'm going to go for life imprisonment. Death, I would say, is even a soft blow for them. It's a soft justice. Because if I killed 17 people at once with a bomb and the state just injects me with a lethal injection, a needle, I'm going to die. Yes, it's going to show justice, going to show an example to the rest, but what has it really solved? If a person is put into remand or life imprisonment and they know they're going to spend the rest of their lives in jail, then, hey, this guy is going to learn and it's going to serve an example to the rest. I mean, look at the Penal Code Act. Many of the sections provide for the death penalty being the final thing. But at the end of the day, I'll leave you, the viewers, to be the judge of that. I, as a legal scholar and someone who is still learning and practicing the law and who provides the best services to you, I'm just trying to show you that the death penalty is something which should be scraped off totally. Yes, it has served as justice to most people, but to me, honestly, I feel like it's short-term gratification. I feel like it's short-term to the point that life imprisonment is more of a justice. This person will, in their minds, forever know that I committed this crime and my freedom has been taken away from me. Once you take freedom away from people, then it's going to serve as the proper justice. I'll give you an example. There was a case of Susan Chigola and 314 others versus the Attorney General. That was back in 2003. Susan Chigola and 314 others were challenging the Attorney General about the death row. They were challenging him about the death penalty. And yes, our dear president came out and about and said that, you know, the death penalty should be put on hold. But the fact that it's still put in theory in our Penal Code Act and somewhere enshrined in our Constitution that it's deserving of these people to be put on death row, I don't think that it being put in theory is still a good practice, because once it's put on theory, meaning it was just put on hold, it's no longer practiced. But who's to say that it will never come back again? If a terrorist is found under the Anti-Terrorism Act to be found a terrorist and he's plotting against the state, then this person can actually be put on death row and he will be hanged. In fact, death row can appear in many ways. Be hanged, lethal injection, be shot under firing squad. Previously in the government of Idi Amin, people used to be put on death row and they would be shot by a firing squad. So humiliating and so inhumane. When you take someone to prison for a horrendous act such as rape or killing someone, then that person is going to reform. It will serve as an example to others. There's an article I read about someone, a very, very good scholar in Africa. I'll not mention the name, but he mentioned a number of reasons as to why life imprisonment should be adopted more by African countries. One of them was rehabilitation. These people can be rehabilitated. Another one was that the death row does not serve so much. It doesn't serve too much in serving justice, because if I was robbed of my life and I'm going to spend the rest of my life in jail, I would rather have preferred the death row, because that's serving its poetic justice, just as Kendrick Lamar put it, poetic justice. So I leave that up to you again. Is the death row really constitutional? Is it unconstitutional? Should it be put back? Should it be removed? Should it be scrapped off? Should the Penal Code Act be revised? The Penal Code Act, which is Cap 120. Most of these sections should not be put on death row. I feel like life imprisonment is something which is more deserving of such horrendous crimes. I remain yours truly again, Terry Kahuma, and I ask it to you again. Should the death penalty be put back? Should it be scrapped off? I leave it to you, the viewers. For those who are new to my channel, feel free to hit me in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to hit me in the comment section again. Tell me about a future video you want me to talk about. Give me a thumbs up, give me a like, and I'll always provide this kind of smile to you once you finish the video. And for those who are new to my channel, feel free to hit the subscribe button. The ears may get confused. And I'll see you next time. Thank you.